Hey, welcome to the Hell Has an Exit podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Alzate. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 888-699-9395 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com. All right, so my name is Bryan Alzate. Welcome to the Hell Has an Exit podcast. We are a podcast that interviews people through all sorts of walks of life, mainly people that have battled addiction. I have my good friend Kerry here, Kerry D. I've known Kerry since about I was in 9th grade, I would say. Just want to say I'm always excited to see you. I don't see you that often. You're one of my close friends. One of the few people that was there when I was using. I would say that I had 2 running partners, people that I use with on a daily basis, day in, day out, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, nonstop, 365. Woke up and try to get drugs, and that's you and Jeremy. And shout out to Jeremy. I am super grateful for you because a lot of people say that when you're on drugs, you don't really have a lot of friends. I can count numerous times that you helped me out of a lot of jams, came and picked me up on the side of a road many times, and I appreciate you. Glad that we're both here, bro. I can't say that about a lot of people.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you too. I don't really remember how we met, though. I mean, we had a lot of crazy...
I think it was through Butler.
Ryan Butler?
Yeah. Fun times. So just walk me through, I guess, like before we met, what childhood was like growing up, and we'll get into, after I got clean and what those years look like for you after that.
Well, I had a pretty good childhood. Mom, dad, brother, sister, everyone's real close. At a pretty young age, I would say, I guess if we're talking about addiction, I had a little bit of a kleptomania problem when I was younger. I remember there's this famous story in my family that I was at a Target or something with my mom when I was younger, and I wanted this troll doll, and she was like, "No, you can't have the troll doll." So I was like, "All right," and might have been 3 or 4, and then she's putting me in the car seat, and she's looking at my pants, and coming out of my side of my shorts there's this fire orange troll hair coming out of it, and I took it, and she's like, she couldn't believe it. She brought me inside and made me return it, and then fast forward a little bit more, I started. I took something from my friend, basketball card. I think it was then I knew that there was just something I was trying to fill, and I didn't need any of that stuff. I didn't need the troll. I didn't need the basketball card that I took, and I didn't need the cell phones that I took from other people. But I just liked the feeling of doing something that I shouldn't be doing. It just I liked it. We were just talking about Butler. When I met him, we were good friends for a little while. One day I picked him up from work or something, and he's like, "Look, I got to go pick up some Roxy's." And I was like, "All right, I'll take you." So
let's backtrack a little bit more. So on a slower scale, what was it like growing up when you first started to do softer drugs and stuff like that?
I didn't really do that many softer drugs. I mean,
it was boom, we're doing
kind
Roxy's.
of, because I went to a private school for 6 years, then I went to Indian Ridge for a little bit, but I didn't really like smoking weed. I had tried it a couple times. I didn't really like it. I did used to drink a lot, I guess, but a lot for a young kid. It wasn't really that crazy. I did some Xanax here and there at school. I did a little bit of Coke here and there, but nothing that crazy.
So when did you meet RB?
RB? Probably around, I met him in middle school. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just normal. We used to just go to the gym all the time, and we were just good friends. We used to chill. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not sure what happened. I went to go pick him up from work. We had to go get these blues for him. So we pull up, and
what grade is this?
I think I'm 17, maybe turning 18 soon. It was these 2 guys, there's just 2 guys in this hotel. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Yo, this might be a little bit of a weird vibe in here. Just don't worry about it." And I was like, "All right, cool." We go in there, and so these 2 dudes in there, I think they're smoking oxys, and they're also smoking crack too. And so Ryan was like, "Yo, do you want to smoke crack too?" And because he gave me an oxy for just trying it out there too. So I did both of those things. It was the first time. Yeah, the same time. Wow. And I had to go sit outside. I remember sitting outside on the balcony, and I was just like, "Oh shit, this is a lot," but I liked it. And then it just sort of started picking up from there, I guess. And then shortly after, I must have started hanging out with you, but I can't really pinpoint.
I know, like, it clicked one day. I remember, like, I had seen you multiple times, and, like, I remember I was friends with, like, Jimmy and Chris and all, like, that group, and then, like, you and I just started hanging out, and you were doing blues already.
Bro, I remember now. I heard your name a bunch of times, and I was like, oh, there's Bryan. And then, so one time me and Ryan were like, we want to try and shoot up. You know, we had a needle, and we were like, damn, like, who the fuck can teach us how to shoot up? You know what I mean? And so Ryan Butler's like, yo, like, Bryan Alzate, I think, can do it. And he works at, was that little place on Pine Island? Vienna Cafe. Yeah, I remember we rolled up there one time, and I'm not sure if you knew what you were talking about, but you were like, you just, like, go in your hand. Like, bro, you were, like, must have been, like, 15 or 16. Like, you were young. And
well, hang on. If you were 17, how old are you now?
32.
So you're 2 years older than me, pretty much?
So you're a little younger than me, and you're just like, you just do it in your toes. And I don't think we ever even tried it. I don't think anything came of it ever, but I remember that. And I think, I don't know, we just started texting back and forth.
Yeah, because when I was working over there, I was pretty blown out on Roxy's already.
Yeah, oh, you had started already?
Yeah, I was pretty bad already at that time. And I remember I was hanging out with Ryan a lot, and then you and I just started hanging out, like, every day after that.
Yeah, Ryan might have gotten a little shitty about that shit, you know? We became, like, best friends, where it was, like, every single day I wake up, I'm like, yo, like, we gotta call Bryan, like, what's good with him, you know? And, like, we would just figure that shit out, like, all day, you know?
Yeah, it was nuts. I remember, you know, like, whether I would come up with, you know, some type of plan or whatever, or I knew somebody, but I just remember I didn't have a car and you had a car.
Yeah.
But, like, I just would know someone that had them, and then you would... come pick me up, whatever.
We always made it work. It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we ever smoked crack together, but I do know that I was the one who was always, like, trying to do it.
Yeah.
Sporadically.
Yeah. I went on, like, a little bit of a crack run for a little while, where I did it for probably, like, 8-9 months, and then I was just like, I like blues better. Like, I'm just gonna stick with this. Yeah, so I was already kind of done with it, and yeah, you'd still be like, every once in a while, I know you'd be in the car and be like, yo, you just want to get like a 40? And I'm like, nah, bro, like, let's stick to the plan and get blues. Like,
you remember that one time when I had robbed that dude over in
bro, I was just thinking about him today. Big Rob?
No, Chris.
Oh, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, Rob too. I always, like, wonder if I'm gonna run into him one day.
Yeah, I don't even know if you'd remember. I was thinking about him too.
No, but this is when I had robbed Chris, and you would have to drop me off. And I remember we went to go cop.
Oh, yeah, this is a classic story.
You want to tell it?
No, you go ahead, do it.
So I remember we were getting off on Broward, and you were just like, all right, bro, I'm going to drop you off here. And you, like, looked at me like, don't do anything crazy. And this dude on a bicycle came up to me, and we're, like, in the hood of Broward Boulevard at 95. And I remember this dude comes up to me. He's like, yo, you like, what's good? I'm like, not much. What's up? He's like, you want some hard? And I was just like, And I had just given you like $70.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you got? I want to see it. And he pulls out this piece from, like, deep in his underwear. Like, it wasn't like it was just sitting in his underwear. Like, he looked to his left, he looked to the right, then he started just digging in his underwear. Some under the sack crack. And, bro, he pulled out this piece of crack, and it was, like, about the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, damn, how much for that? Yeah. And I think he said, like, $30. And I was like, $30 for that? Yeah. And he was like, yeah. And I remember, like, the first thing I did instinctively was to smell it and lick it, you know, to make sure it was real. And I remember I texted you, I'm like, bro, bring me back my money. And you're like, no, for what? And I'm just like, bro, bring me back my money. I just need some of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm already getting blues. And I was just like, nah, bro, I need at least $35 or something.
Yeah.
And I remember you're like, what the fuck? And then you gave me the money, and it was like the saddest day, because when I actually got it, he had okey-doked me and gave me like a fake piece. And I remember I was like trying to find something to smoke, and you were just looking at me like, bro, what is wrong with you? And I remember, like, my whole active addiction, all I remember is like being in the car with you and you just looking at me like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I remember,
so disappointed.
Yeah, you're like, dude, really? And I remember I was like, I gotta find something to smoke, and you were like, no, you can't use that. That's Amanda's. It was like she had like some weird, like that thing that you put a cigarette in that's like super long, that Cruella DeVille, Cruella DeVille, like the Cruella DeVille cigarette long thing. I like broke it in half. You're like, no, that's Amanda's. And I was just like, I don't give a fuck. And then like I ran into a Publix, stole some like fake Chore Boy or whatever, and like threw it in there, and I smoked it. and you were just looking at me like I was the biggest scumbag, and then you were just...
It didn't hit, right?
No, it was fake.
Yeah.
And I remember I smoked like every last piece of it. Like I couldn't even imagine.
You tried your best.
I tried my best, bro. And I remember just sitting there like, not sick because I still got some blues, but just feeling like that total ultimate dirty feeling.
I remember a little something extra on that. I feel like you tried that thing, and I feel like maybe you were just like, nah, it's not working in here. And I think we went and got like a pen.
A real crack pipe?
Yeah. No, I think it was just a plastic pen because I remember you like... trying to smoke it. I'm like, bro, that's not gonna work.
I've done it before. Yeah, I think I ended up smoking out of a pen.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do in school when I would smoke crack. When I used to get crack, I'd use a pen or something if I couldn't get a crack pipe. Crack pipes are hard to get. They're not that easy to get as people think sometimes.
I feel like I was in a gas station really recently and I was like, fuck, this is for crack. They were like, it didn't have a rose in it, but they were like little glass pipes. I forget what the fuck was in there.
Yeah, there's nothing for it. I was just at a gas station the other day and I posted it on Instagram. It was like a super nice gas station and they had them there. And I'm just like, bro, what's going on in the world, bro? Like, what type of world do we live in where they sell these in nice gas stations?
It's crazy.
But that's usually how it went between us. You know, I remember you having it together. You know, I remember you had a job. I remember you got the new phone. I remember I was so mad at you that you bought like an $800 phone. I was like, bro, you know how much drugs we could have gotten?
At me. You're like, bro, I can't believe you haven't even pawned that phone yet. Like get your shit together, bro. Like, go sell it.
And I was like, bro, fuck the phone, dude. I still had the flip phone Nokia. I had sold any nice phone I had like totally years prior to that.
Yeah.
At that point in time when we were using, I remember like you had a girlfriend, you had a job, you had, you know, blues on blues.
I looked like I had it together on the outside.
Super had it together, bro. And I just remember myself being dope sick every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
If I did rob a drug dealer and come up on 100 pills, 2 days later, I'd be super sick.
Yeah.
Pawning everything, just looking like a mess.
Yeah.
You did pick me up when I got jumped. That was good times.
Yeah. I feel like what you said earlier about how when you have like using partners or using friends, they're not like your real friends and they're, you know, and I feel like that is true with a lot of people, but I feel like, you know, whether or not I feel like drugs are involved, like we would always click, whether it was something else, you know, movies, music or whatever.
Yeah, we were still friends. You know what I mean? Some people you couldn't even have a conversation with and you're just like, I'm only in the car with you because you have a car and we're getting drugs right now. I fucking hate you. You know, you would use with people you hated.
We would just look out for each other. Like you would sometimes get money, I would get money, and it would just be like a thing. Yeah,
we had a symbiotic relationship.
I remember this time, I kind of forget the specifics, but we needed to sell some blues, but we had no blues. So we went to, we had to get off like a 50 pack or some shit. We rolled up to like CVS and we were trying to find something that looked similar, and we got something that
Simply Sleeps.
Yeah, it was something that was just like
looked like blue,
kind of in the dark. Yeah, and I think I drove you to the drop off. You jumped out of the car, did your thing, and you're like, "Yo, we got to get the fuck out of here now," and we just bucked it.
Yeah, I think we did it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
you know,
that was the move for a little bit.
That was the move for a little bit. Where I think I would get like the Manila envelopes, and then I would buy Simply Sleeps, and then the tiny Manila envelopes you couldn't see through, you could only look down it. So I put like 12-15 Roxys in there, fake Roxys, Simply Sleeps, and then I would just sell it to people and then take off with the money.
That was the lick for a little while.
Yeah, so a lot of times when I tell people that I lived off robbing people, they were like, what do you mean, like with the gun? But it was like not that hardcore, you know what I mean? It was more like
it's like suburban robbing kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, nobody was really about that life around here. Pull a gun out on us.
I think a drug dealer had done it to me, but he never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, the only time that things really got out of hand is when I had to come pick you up, like we were just talking about, and we're like, I picked you up, I was like, fuck. Like, so you were a mess, bro, like bloody everywhere, but like, all you were cared about is like, yo, I still got the bread on me. Like, like you're like, are you okay? He's like, yo, I don't fucking I got the money. Like,
I remember, let's
go get blues.
There was probably like 4 people that would text me my address.
Yeah.
Because I had fucked them over and they were just going to tell me they're going to kill me. And the one person I thought who wouldn't do anything was the one who ended up getting me.
Damn.
And I remember, so his other friend didn't like me because I had robbed his other friend once. And he hit me up and he was like, yo, can you get me blues? And I'm like, at home, like, fuck you, in my head, like, bro, why the fuck would I get this kid blues? Like, this kid's a fucking clown, you know? You and your stupid friend that I robbed. And he's like, I'll buy you 1. And when he said, like, he didn't even try to be like, I'll buy you 2, I'll throw you $50. He's like, I'll buy you 1.
That's all it took.
And I was like, bro, meet me up outside. And I remember I leave my parents' house and I hop in the back of this black truck and I sit bitch And there's like these two big ass kids in the back and two big kids in the front. And I was probably 17 or 16.
Yeah.
I could tell these people were like in their 20s.
So there's 4 people in the car.
4 people in the car
you,
and me.
And
I'm
they're
sitting,
all against you.
Yeah, and I'm sitting bitch in the back seat.
God damn.
And I could instantly tell that they weren't drug addicts. They're like way too big to be on drugs.
like
they weren't
regular.
like strung out like all these like regular people.
Yeah.
And I remember the kid who was on the phone wasn't in the car. And I was like, where's so-and-so? And they're like, don't worry, it's for us.
Fuck.
And instantly knew like I'm getting fucking
Yeah.
the shit kicked out of me. Something's going to happen. And like if you ever watch like the movie Bully, I remember thinking like they're going to kill me. Like they're going to accidentally kill me.
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean?
it's going to go a little too far.
A little too far. And I remember like I always had my money in my sock. Like as a drug addict, I just never kept my money in my pocket or whatever. And I remember we were supposed to go towards 441 to go cop. And we're going to use My Connect. And they were like, nah, don't worry. We got to pick up the money first.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, fuck.
Yeah.
And we started driving out west. And then we just keep driving where Griffin Road like totally ends.
Yeah.
There's like not a house for like a while. And then we pull up to this little shitty house. And it's like in the middle of nowhere, pretty much in the Everglades. And we get out and they pretend to knock on the door. But like clearly like no one even lives at this like little shithole barn. And then the kid who I had robbed pulls up behind us, blocks the driveway, and I could tell it's his like Chevy Impala.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the car, and I remember it's like probably 6 people there now. And he pulls off his hoodie, and he just looks me in the face and just starts sticking me in the face.
Fuck.
And they all just start kicking me and beating the shit out of me. And I remember just screaming, I'm only 15. But I was like 17. I remember screaming. Like, I remember like the only thing I could think of was like, I'm only 15. I just started screaming, I'm only 15.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I would fucking rob somebody or like do someone dirty or whatever, they would learn that I was 15 and they'd be like, well, I'm not going to kill a little kid, you know? And a lot of times people thought I was 19 or 20 or 22 even.
Yeah.
So I remember they beat the fuck out of me and they weren't even trying to take my money. And I remember wondering like, why aren't
But did they know you had money?
They didn't even attempt to go through my pockets.
I don't know. How much did you rob this dude of?
Bro, it's like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, that was nothing. It was like $250.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
like
3.
a lot of theatrics. So like, okay, you're going to go pick him up. Hey, I need the 2 of you in the back seat in the middle of him and just drive down Griffin. We're going to go to an abandoned house. Like, bro, for $250, like it's not that deep.
I mean, I would be mad about it. You know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd always be mad about 250, but like, I'll just go beat someone up. I don't need to like, let's go pick him up here, bring him around with my friends.
It was a pretty well orchestrated thing, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, it was
well,
put together.
It was pretty well put together, bro, especially for $250. And I remember he would text me nonstop, leave me voicemails, I'm going to kill you, all for months.
Yeah.
Because this was like months later, bro. And I remember I was just thinking like, bro, he's not going to do anything. There was a couple of people that I was kind of scared about, but I never thought he would do it. Bro, I remember they beat the fucking living piss out of me. And then I ended up like to scavenge away and they were like screaming at me. And I just started running down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm covered in blood. I got one shoe on and I have my money in my sock. And I remember I bang on this dude's door thinking he's going to like take me to like a hospital or something. And I'm like, sir, I just got mugged. Like, I need to use your phone. And he was like, get the fuck off my property. Like, just old school, like, Southwest Ranches guy.
That dude's in on it, too.
Yeah, bro. He was definitely in on it. The whole city was planned out.
Block.
I went back after they left, and I found my phone in the grass, and I called...
They didn't even take your phone, huh?
They didn't even take my phone, bro.
Like, what a bad, beat down. They didn't take shit. You know, your money, your phone.
I think they're just proving that they just wanted to beat my ass.
They could do it,
I guess. I mean, I don't care. I'm still taking everything you got. Yeah. But Jeremy came and picked me up. And, bro, when I got into his back seat, instinctively, his first reaction was to take pictures of me. He just pulled out his phone, like the little camera phone, and just started because I was covered in blood. He was like, oh my God. And he pulled out his phone and was like,
damn.
And I remember him being like, bro, they got you so good. Like, he was impressed with how much they beat the fuck out of me. And then I remember I had my money in my sock, but I had owed Jeremy money, so I didn't want to cop with him.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell him that I had money on me. And I was like, bro, just drop me off this gas station.
Yeah.
And then I hit you up, and you were just looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you again? And I remember like half my nose was to the side. I was like covered in blood. I went to the gas station, like cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we went and bought pills.
Yeah, you had a hard time getting them in your nose too. Like it was all fucked up. Like, I don't know what to do.
Looking at me like, bro, you okay over there? I was just trying to snort them so hard up my nose.
I know how bad you wanted them in your nose, but like it just wasn't getting there because of the blood and the fucking obstruction.
Well, I remember when I went home that night, I had a big lump on my head, and my mom was like, "Bryan, what happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I was boxing with my friend." And my mom was like so concerned, and I just like went into my room. You're actually the last person I did blues with. And I remember when I had my intervention and like my parents were like, oh, you need to go somewhere and they're going to send me to treatment. I remember looking out the window while being on drugs. You know, normally when you cop drugs, do them, the ride home is pretty enjoyable. Like we'll be listening to Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
We were like obsessed with Lil Wayne. We listened to like every single Lil Wayne song nonstop. The Drought 3. I think I got clean before the
Shout
Drought
out
3.
to Wayne.
Shout out to Weezy F Baby. Best rapper alive. But I remember looking out the window and bro, I had just done like 7 blues to the face and didn't feel good, bro. Just like my
You're talking
life.
about the ride home from
the last time I copped.
Oh, okay.
When we like used for the last time.
You remember the last time you got high?
On blues, yeah.
Wow.
That's the last time I did blues. And it was with you.
Damn.
And I remember just looking out the window and it was like raining and I was just like, fuck. And I knew that I was going to go home and like my dad was going to have that talk with me where he's like, all right, dude, like.
Yeah, here we go again.
The gig is up, bro. Like fucking, we know you're fucking blowing the fuck out on drugs again.
Yeah.
And I had an intervention. I went to detox and then I got clean. What did you think when I first went to detox? Like, did you like anticipate me staying clean at all?
I didn't really have a good concept of like what really happened in treatment or, you know, I don't know. I was just a little, I guess, I don't really know. You know, it was like Bryan's going to jail. I always thought it was like a sentence. Like you're going to jail, you're going to do your time and you're going to get out and you're still going to be like fucking Bryan again, you know? Yeah. So when you went to treatment, I was like, oh, that shit is crazy. I just waited for you to get out. And I was just telling you earlier, like I'd saved you blues. Like as soon as you got out of treatment, you came over and hung out with all of us. And I was like, here, bro.
Yeah,
like,
which is crazy because my parents let me go over there.
Yeah, they just let it ride. Yeah, like I think it was like the day of you got out.
The day I got a treatment, like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my boys, and my parents were like, okay.
Yeah, have fun. Here are the keys, like.
Which is crazy because a lot of times, bro, I'm like, man, I couldn't stay clean, and not that my parents were bad parents or anything, but there's times my dad would catch me with drugs, scream, yell, break furniture, say I'm an idiot, all this crazy shit, and then he would cool off, and then be like, here's $40.
Yeah.
Go to the mall and buy some
walking
clothes.
Around money.
Yeah, here's some fucking. Why don't you go buy some new clothes? You look like shit.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay. Then I would go buy drugs, not come home till like 2 a.m.
Without clothes.
Without clothes. You know, say I lost the receipts or something.
Yeah.
And then my dad would be like, what the fuck? And then he would yell at me even more and then be like, I can't deal with you. And it's like, bro, no shit. I was going to get high. I think they felt bad telling me I couldn't go somewhere because they thought that I was going to get high.
Yeah.
Because every time they accused me of getting high, I would flip out.
Yeah.
You know? I'd be like, what do you mean I'm going to get high? I might as well just get high.
Yeah. You know, what it seems like is maybe they weren't so like on top of you right when you got out. And that I think that might have helped. I think sometimes when you get out of treatment and
you're all over your kid's ass.
Yeah, you're on someone's ass, whether it's your significant other, your parent, whatever it is. Like it comes down on them, and it's kind of like when I was talking about when I was a kid. Like you want to buck, you know, like you want to do the opposite of that shit. If someone's telling me something and I'm not thinking clearly, I'm gonna do the opposite. You know, so I think there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, like I knew I wasn't getting high. And even though hanging out with my stupid fucking drug using friends the same fucking day was like the worst decision anyone could make the day they get a treatment, and the chances of staying clean through that are like 1%. Yeah, razor sharp, super sharp. Like I would never suggest that to anybody, but I had no one else to hang out with. I didn't have anyone else to hang out with, but I have no friends.
Yeah, I mean, you were honestly like the first person that I knew that went to treatment and stayed clean. Like, I mean, one of like our peers, like of the kids. You know,
the kids we grew up with.
And then, you know, everyone started to fall into treatment and it became more normalized.
So what a lot of people don't realize is that when I tell them that I got clean young, they feel real bad for me. Like, oh, that's so sad. Who got you into that stuff? But I was like, no, like everybody hated me. You know?
Yeah, well, you had a real special personality when you were younger. Like, if you weren't, like, super close with you, you were trying to get one over on somebody. You know what I mean? And that's how we operated.
So I remember, one of my memories with you is I remember being in the car, and we were going to Jimmy's house. And we had just got drugs or whatever. And Jimmy was, like, my childhood friend. And he was like...
Wait, who's Jimmy?
Niffin.
Oh, Jimmy Niffin.
Yeah, I remember. So Jimmy had called, Jimmy Niffin, shout out. So I remember he called you and he was like, hey, we're having people over, whatever. Like, oh, true, whatever. And you got off the phone with him and you're like, yo, I'm going to Jimmy's house. Where do you want me to drop you off at? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm coming. And he's like, no, bro, he told me not to bring you. And I was like, he would never say that, bro. It's like
I said that to you?
Yeah. And then
because he was having a party.
He was having a party and he didn't want me there. I was just
going to bring this up.
Yeah, he like didn't want me there. And I remember you were like, yeah, bro, I'm going to drop you off. And I was like, why? He's like, Jimmy doesn't want you there. And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, bro, call him back. And I remember on speakerphone, you called him and you're like, yo, you don't want Bryan to come, right? And he was like, no, he can't come here. And I remember being like, okay, bro, I'll just sip on myself outside at the park.
Damn.
You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he would have awesome parties.
I'm not a party person. I never really went to, I didn't even know a party was really happening. I thought it was just a couple people hanging out at his house and we're going to take mushrooms. Was it mushrooms or acid? It was one of them. And we're all chilling. And I think Ryan was there too. And then everyone started coming in for the party. And then I remember I just wanted it to be over. And I was like, I got to get blues. Like I got blues and I got upstairs and I was trying to like crush them down to do them. And I couldn't figure out like how to get the powder into my nose. I was just staring at it. I eventually got it, but
there was times where Jimmy tried to get me off drugs with acid, and I did acid for like 2 months.
Did you?
And
microdosing before it was cool.
Microdosing before it was cool. That was like real dosing every day, bro. I remember I used to be on it at school, and Santiago would be looking at me, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Nah, I just like 4 tabs like in first period." And he used to be like, didn't you do that yesterday? And I'd be like, yeah, bro.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah, I did that yesterday. I was like, bro, I've been on it for like fucking 2 months nonstop. Yeah. And he's like, how do you even eat food on it? I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't have a problem eating food. And he's like, what? And I remember him thinking like, did you stop all the other drugs? And I was like, no, I just do that on top of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing was really stopping me, bro. Like crack and opiates, you know, I wanted to take them to the church and marry them, bro. I was just obsessed and didn't think I was going to get off them. And then we would do liquid oxys and methadone and Suboxone and like all these other like maintenance drugs when we didn't have any and shit.
We were doing Suboxone then?
Subutex. I would because Jeremy had a script for them and he would break me off.
I don't remember if I got involved in that then. I know I was prescribed Suboxone for like 3 years.
So let's get back to like when I come out of treatment, we go hang out and I don't do blues.
Yeah, so you come over to the house, like we're all super excited that you're there. It's like a coming home from jail party almost. You know, we're all chilling, like I think music's playing, like, and then I was like, oh, like Harry, it's good you're back. Like, you know, here's a couple blues for you to get you started off. And you're like, nah, bro, like it's all good. And I was like, what do you mean you're all good?
Hell froze
like,
over,
bro. Like I just don't want to get high. And I thought you were fucking with me because like you always kind of talk with like a little bit of a smile. And so like I was like, dude, is he fucking with? Or I just keep trying. And so I tried for like 15, 20 minutes, maybe the rest of the night. And you're just like stayed solid. You're like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. Like I'm good. Like I feel fine.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I remember just, that was a lot to digest, bro, because like you were so all about getting after it, you know? And then you're just like, nah, like.
Yeah, bro. I get like that. I mean, even with other things, like I'm either all in or all out. And I remember when I got out of detox, I was like, bro, I pay $30 to feel like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I didn't feel good, but I didn't need it to survive that much. I couldn't sleep for like 3 or 4 months. I didn't take trazodone. I didn't take any night medicine. I couldn't sleep. My hardest time was I wanted to do blues so I could sleep. I thought I was going to die because I wasn't sleeping at all.
Right.
But I didn't really have a desire to do blues because I was just thinking about how bad the withdrawals were. And that can keep someone clean for a while. And I remember just being like, nah, bro, I'm just going to see how long I could go.
Yeah.
And then I started going to meetings, and I remember trying to get everybody to go to meetings. And I thought meetings were so cool, and I would try to get you and Ryan and Chris to go.
You should try to come to these.
And nobody thought it was cool. Nobody was
weird ass place.
We were like, bro, no one's trying to hang out with these old fucking drug addict weirdos.
Yeah, it was really strange. Like I said, that was like the first real time I was like, a friend had gone to treatment and then like stayed clean and like was doing it and like going to NA. And then like you started making new friends. You had your NA friends, and then I'd go to detox, and then I'd come back out, and then you would stay clean, but you'd always try to get me to come in. You're like, yo, bro, like please stay clean, you know? Like even before you would even
come around a little bit.
Yeah, I would come around for a while. But I remember this one time I was at your house, and I don't know how long clean you had. Dude, I might have still been getting high. I don't even think I was clean. I get to your house, and you're like, bro, like, please just stay clean. Like, we can hang out. We could still be friendly. Like, just stay clean. And you're like, here, I got some shirts for you. And, like, you started, like, picking out, like, these tight-ass, like, ice cream shirts. Yeah. And you blessed me with some shit. You're like, bro, wear these, and, like, you'll feel better, like, and you'll stay clean.
Didn't work out.
Didn't work, but...
I remember the last time I had to like put a boundary between us because I was just like, bro, I keep trying to get this person clean. And people don't realize how hard it is to get clean. And like you have friends that are using that you don't want to cut off. Yeah. Like, bro, when my sponsor or people in meetings be like, oh, you got to cut all your friends off. I used to be like, all right, bro, well, like I have like, I don't have a lot of friends, bro, but I have one friend that was there for me when I got fucking jumped and left at a fucking gas station covered in blood. And he fucking fronted me fucking pills when I didn't have shit, which seems like a joke. Yeah. But like, bro, I was like, bro, I'll take a bullet for that motherfucker. Yeah. He gave me a fucking quarter of an Oxy 80 when I was sick multiple times. Yeah. Picked me up when I was stranded hundreds of times. You know, like took me to the pawn shop, bro. You took me all over the place, you know? So I'm just like, bro, I'm not going to turn my back on my friend. Yeah. And it was so difficult. Like, and like as much times I would tell you that I'm clean, you would still be like, oh, bro, I got blues.
Like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember you being like, oh, bro, I just got fucking 100 for 7 each. And I used to be like, yeah, bro, it sounds great, but I'm not trying to do blues anymore.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it now, like, I mean, back then I didn't really think about it too much. But I mean, like, I really tested the limits of like, I guess what you could deal with. And like, you were able to deal with it all. I mean, I remember one time we were chilling in the car and you were clean and I was like, yo, like, you figured it out that I somehow got you in the car and we were going to...
So this is what happened. I remember what happened because I think about it all the time. So even though I was clean like 5-6 months, I didn't want to give you the phone number to the guy who had... Yeah. I think he had subs or something. Yeah. So I still wanted the connect because in my mind, I was like, well, what if I do use and then I give someone my connect? And like, here we are saying we're such good friends, but I don't want to give you my connect.
I want to blow out my connect.
I want you to fucking Derek for real my ass. Yeah. And I remember just being like, I don't want to give you the number. And we were in the car and I'm like, well, come pick me up and we'll go. And in my mind, I think we were getting Suboxone at the time. And when you asked me if I knew anybody who had anything, I was like, nah. And then when you said I'm hurting, and I remember being like, damn, bro, like that's what we used to call it. Like I'm hurting, you know, like I'm dope sick. Yeah. And when I read that, I was like, fuck, bro, how many times was I dope sick and Kerry fucking came through for my ass?
You're a good friend.
So I was like, fuck, bro, like come pick me up. And then here we are. I have 6 months clean. I'm in the same car with the same kid I did blues with. And we're going to go not get drugs, but we're getting subs. Yeah. And I remember you're like, yo, your boy's taking too long. I'm just going to go cop. Yeah. And I was like,
okay, that's what happened.
No, take me home. Yeah. And you're like, bro, you're not going to die if you fucking see a Roxy. I'm like, bro, I don't want to be near that shit. Yeah. And you're like, I'm going.
Because you had started to wisen up at this point. Because when you first got out, you're like, I'll be around it. Fuck it. Yeah. Like, but you got a little later in the game, you're like, bro, I don't want to be around it. Like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I got to a point where I was like, bro, I'm doing all this stuff at meetings. I'm like hardcore into recovery. I'm not trying to hang out with someone who's like snorting pills right next to me, you know? Yeah. I remember we were going to go cop and bro, I'm having flashbacks. I'm like, bro, I'm in the same car with the same kid about to meet the same drug dealer for the same drugs on the same road on 441. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, this is how it happens. People say, oh, I don't know how I relapsed. I'm like, this is how. This is exactly how. Like, how did you even get in the car? This is how. Fucking being a dumbass. And I remember just begging you, like, to take me home. And you were just, like, not having it. And thank God. So I had robbed the drug dealer. So you had to drop me off, which is standard procedure for us, where you just have to drop me off because the drug dealer wants to kill me.
Yeah, you just can't be around him.
So I remember you dropped me off and I had his number saved and I call him and I was like, bro, if you're going to serve up Kerry, he's a narc. He's narking on everybody. And he was like, for real? He's like, I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I know I owe you money. I did you dirty. He's like, all right, true, word. And then you like came back and you're like, what did you do? I was like, don't worry about it. You were just screaming at me, bro. I felt so bad, like fucked up your eye. But I was like, bro, I'm not playing, bro. I'm not playing these games, bro. Yeah. That was like the moment where like we didn't talk for like 2 years.
Oh, is that it? Mm-hmm. I got shitty with you, huh?
Yeah, bro. I mean, at the same time, I could understand why you were mad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like,
Well, I mean, look, it was going to have to happen no matter what. I mean, it was always going to be a time where it was like, I was going to keep getting high and you were going to stay clean. And like, we can't just keep staying friends. You know, there was going to be that one defining moment and that was it.
and it was hard for me, bro, because like when you get clean, you see your friends use. It's not like, oh, they're having fun anymore. It's like, damn, bro, like he's getting kicked out of his house.
sad.
Your mom's calling me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Your mom used to hate me. You know what I mean? Like
Seriously.
Your family hated me.
I know, everyone's like, oh, why don't you can't be like Brian? He stayed clean.
Yeah, your mom started calling me. I was like, I don't fucking know why I stayed clean. Just, you know, I tried talking to him.
Yeah.
So what happened over like the course of those years of like in and out? Like, because a lot of times I like to think that like my drug use was like pretty explicit for that age. I don't think there was another 17-year-old on the planet that used the way that I did.
Yeah, no.
I know that you got progressively worse after that.
Yeah, I mean, things picked up. I mean, I stayed doing Roxy's for a while, and then we, you know, Roxy's became too expensive, so we switched to Dilaudid. Dilaudids were all right, but I just didn't like them as much as Roxy's. Like, they hit really hard, but then they just kind of fizzled out. But so I did that, and then I got on Suboxone for a while, and then, you know, I kind of forget this little time period, but I've been to treatment like 15 times, and I didn't complete. I've completed maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Wow, really? You would just bounce? Well, you were in Florida too, right?
Yeah, so all the ones I went all the ones in Florida that I'd always get kicked out after like a week or two. I'd always bring pills in with me, or I'd have like one of my friends, you know, throw a tennis ball with some blues in it. Yo, one time I went to go meet Chris. I remember leaving treatment while I was in there and just running to like the little corner store, booking it. And I had so much adrenaline. I got the blues. I got back. I was able to do them in treatment. And I gave him to one of my roommates and he got too high. And then they were just like, are you high? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, who gave him to you? And he's like, it was that kid.
Wow.
So I got kicked out. But yeah, I went to treatment in Minnesota as well. I went to Hazelden.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a really nice program.
Did you go there twice?
I went to like a Hazelden youth facility, and then I was like kind of a problem over there because I was trying to smoke cigarettes, and you weren't allowed to smoke cigarettes because there was like young kids there too.
Yeah,
you know, like teens or some shit.
Right? One of the first.
Yeah. I think it might have been like the third. I went to like 2 detox. I went to High Point a couple times, and my parents were like, "Bro, you got to get out of here." So yeah, I did that. I was up there for like 5-6 months, and then I came back down here on Christmas.
So when you would go to treatment, were you like wanting to stay clean?
Nah,
Did
never.
you like never?
No,
right?
never. Not one time.
Family was just like that's
Nah,
so
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, like maybe like the last time I went to treatment.
Did you think you were not an addict, or you just didn't give a fuck and was just like, I'm just using, who cares?
I mean, I for sure knew I was an addict. Like, that's silly. But I liked the activity of it. Look, it's an addictive drug, so you're going to get addicted to it. But I think I also liked the activity part of it where you're never bored. You wake up, and as soon as you wake up, you're like, all right, how am I going to get money? Like, who am I going to have to like steal from or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's 24/7.
It's all the time. Like, people are blowing you up. You're blowing other people up, bro.
All
Like,
the lies
you're like the
together.
center of attention. Yeah, it's crazy. And then when you get clean, all that shit stops. And then, so I'll be sitting at home, and this is like before like Netflix and shit, and there wasn't anything to watch on TV. I was bored. I didn't really have anyone to hang out with.
Yeah, boredom is like the main thing where like you go from like being in car chases, pulling guns on people, drug dealers telling you they're going to kill you, running around Broward County like a fucking crazy person.
Like the Joker.
Yes, like the Joker of Broward County. Exactly. Fucking pawning everything you can. Yeah. And like, bro, when you're Dopesick and you come up on $30, it is like you won the lottery. The adrenaline is like, what the like, it is such a fucking high and low because being Dopesick is like the worst feeling on the planet. And you literally find $10, you're like, fuck yeah. Like it is such an extreme high. Yeah. Back and forth. Even before the drugs hit you, like the money touches your hand and you're just like, oh, you're like already melted. I was just talking
about this shit with somebody. Like, we were talking about this phenomenon that happens when you're dope sick as fuck. You're throwing up, you have diarrhea, you got the chills, you're sweating, and then you get the call like, yo, you can slide now. And then all that shit just goes away. You're just like, all right, let's go. You get in the car, I'll be fucking singing in the car, rapping, bro.
You're like in the best thing.
Like, it's already hit. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Without the drugs in your system, just making the decision that you're gonna get high, you just like instantly are in a good mood. And
that's how powerful like the brain is. You know, like you can make yourself sick, you can make yourself feel better, you can cure your boredom. Like if you understand boredom, you just get better at adapting, and you're like, all right, I can fill my time doing this.
I remember when like it hit me one day because I was just so bored all the time, bro. I had like no friends. Like, I would try to hang out with people that weren't addicts and just feel like fucking Edward Scissorhands when he drives into that fucking town for the first time. I would just feel like such a freak. They'd be talking about, like, sports and, like, what they did this weekend and, like, if they're going to go to the bowling alley. I'd be like, oh, well, did you hear Roxy's are $12 now? Like, oh, man, it's real crazy. You know, like, I just had nothing to say to them. And then one day I was like... it's not boredom. It's just no one's trying to kill me. You know, like, it's not boredom. It's just like...
That's normalcy.
Nothing bad is going on.
Nothing bad's happening.
Like, I don't have a court date. I'm not trying to hide piss under my leg to go to the probation officer.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, this is just peace, right? Like, this is just normal. This is just cruising.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to deal with that, it can be frustrating and destructive, you know?
Yeah, because you get addicted to the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. When I would get clean and sit down at a family dinner and mush my food around and just look at my family like they were fucking actors, I would look at my family like I didn't even know who the fuck they were.
Yeah.
And getting clean and they'd be like, you okay now? And you're just like, just wanting to fucking take a blast of crack or fucking do something crazy.
Yeah, well, you didn't. And that's like, I just couldn't like wait on for it like a little longer for it to be like, where I'd feel better, you know, like, but I wasn't ready then, you know what I mean? Like, I did stay clean. I think before I stayed clean this last time, I think the longest I stayed clean was like 8 months. I went to Hazelden for 4 or 5 months. I came home in November, and then I think I got high on New Year's Eve. And it just started again, you know, I just stay clean for a little bit. And I just, you know, that little thing comes out where it's like, yo, let's fucking act out. But yeah, so I mean, things progressed a little bit. You know, I did heroin for a little bit, but this is when heroin started getting a little sketchy. It was mixed with shit and it was cut. And then a lot of people were dying then too. There was a lot of overdoses. Yeah, this is
right before heroin went from being real safe to not so safe anymore.
You know, while I was down here in Fort Lauderdale, I got brought up to Jensen Beach, Florida, and I got dropped off at a treatment center up there. And so I was up there for a little bit. I stayed clean after I got out of that treatment center for a little bit, and then I got high again, and then I went to detox, and then I just stayed clean. But while I was there getting high, I was getting high with this kid in a hotel room, and he was like, yo, I got good H, like, let's go get some. And so we went and got it. We went back to this hotel room, and he shot up, and then he just completely fell out. Like, I thought he was just having a good time. He was chilling. And I was doing my thing, and he wasn't responding, and like, yo, like, he wasn't breathing, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I was scared. Like, there was needles and heroin in this room, and this kid's not breathing, and I'm high as fuck. So first thing I did was I checked his pulse and shit, and he had like a very faint pulse, but he was completely unresponsive. I was slapping him in the face and shit. He wasn't waking up. I called my friend, and they were like, bro, you got to call 911. Like, this dude is not well. So I called 911. I checked him for drugs, but I didn't know where the fuck he put his drugs, because I was like, yo, if they're coming here, like, I gotta take them all for myself, right? So they came and took him away. That dude was in a coma for like 6 months after that. And I always felt so bad because I always feel like I waited so long to call, you know? I don't know how long it actually was, because, you know, when things are crazy, you can't really tell time, but he actually contacted me not so long ago and was just super grateful that I even called the police and didn't leave. And
I was
like, bro, like, thank you so much. Like, I've been weighing down. Like, I didn't know really what
you
happened
haven't talked
to
to him since then?
Nah, like, he could have died. I heard he was in a coma afterwards, but I didn't hear anything from him after that.
So you didn't know if he had died after or something?
Yeah, I didn't know if he died, or death wouldn't even be like, that would be a terrible thing that happened. But what would be even worse if he had like brain trauma and he was a vegetable and couldn't do shit. But it was good to hear that he's happy and well. Shout out to Chris. But yeah, that's nothing really nothing extra.
But people do leave a lot. So like, I have a friend, and his little sister was trying to get clean, and fucking, she was getting high in some trap house, whatever, bro. And bro, they put her in the bathtub, and they just left.
Yeah.
And no one found her for like 5-6 days.
Yeah, I mean, people have bounced on me too. Like, I'll be somewhere and like, I'll just like nod out or something, and then I'll wake up and like people are gone.
Wow.
Like, I think it definitely helps, like, growing up with like a good family. Like, I had good family values, but I also like to shoot drugs. Yeah. You know, so I still like care about people. That's why, like, I cared about our friends. I care about my friends. I care about my family, but I also like to, you know, steal shit and get high.
So what was it like those years of in and out where like you started to see the change of like, fuck, maybe I need to get clean? And like, what did you think, like, seeing me? Because you would like see me stay clean the whole time. And I would always be like, dude, you just, you go from over there, you just wander over here. You just do what I do. And like, I would just constantly try to like it's when you're clean, it's like so obvious to you. I'm like, bro, just don't do drugs and go do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because, like after I think we just talked about we stopped talking for a little while, and then we would talk every once in a while, and every time I talk to you, you're always doing really well. You're always making progression. You're progressing in life. You got a job, or you're making money doing this. You're acquiring these things, and you got all this stuff going on. And I always thought, like, bro, this is awesome. Like, I could just do the same thing Bryan's doing, or on my own course, but move forward like an adult. But things just started to keep getting worse, and I kept going in and out of halfway houses, and at this point, like, my family had stopped. They were just like, we can't talk to you anymore, like, until you get clean for a while, like, we're done. Like, so my family stopped talking to me.
How old were you at this point?
I mean, I was a little bit older now. This is because we're getting kind of near the end. So I think I might have been like 23, 24, something like that. They didn't want nothing to do with me, so they were no longer helping me with anything. And so I was just like rolling around, and I had like a trash bag of clothes. I had a couple trash bags of clothes, but every time I go somewhere, people steal shit. I steal shit. Someone will steal some of my shit. I'll leave some shit behind. Near the end, it was just one trash bag of clothes, and I had no possessions. And I was like, fuck, like, this is crazy. I don't have anything to show for my whole life. Like, I've acquired nothing. Everything I have acquired is gone now. My family doesn't want anything to do with me. So that's when I kind of first started I need to get clean. And it still took a couple other treatment centers after that, maybe 2. That's where like the shift change came.
Did you go to treatment again?
Yeah, I went to treatment. I felt pretty good, and then I got out and I got high. But like I wanted to stay clean. It was just hard for me to stay clean at that point. Up until that point, I didn't want to get clean. I was always getting high in treatment centers. So yeah, I just kept trucking along, and then I went to treatment in Jensen Beach. Yeah, I stayed clean for a year. I got a job at like this call center or something, and I got paid. And that's when I met the kid I did heroin with, and he went into a coma. So, and then after that, I went to treatment one more time, and then I just stayed clean.
And you've been clean since then. How pivotal was it for you to go to a treatment center away from Broward? Because I know for a long time I'd be like, yo, you want to come back to Broward? You're like, nah, bro, I'm not going back to Broward. I need to get out of there.
I think it definitely helps a lot. I don't think it's the only factor because, like, I went to treatment in Minnesota and I came back and I got high as well. And I think it definitely helps, but mindset is everything. Like I knew I wanted to stay clean. I knew that the things that I wanted to do, the things that I wanted to get, I couldn't be getting high. I think I was about to tell you earlier, I remember there was this time where I was sitting in Ole Ole with my family and I was high. And I remember just like a random guy and girl, like they were on a date. They walked in and I was like, damn, like, and he's just going out to eat at a restaurant. And that just seems so far-fetched to me because at this time, like, I wasn't really talking to that many girls, and all I was thinking about is just blues all the time. And I couldn't even get a girl to go to Ole Ole with me. You know what I mean? And that seems silly, but it's, that was kind of like my marker of like, that dude's doing okay, and it was a small scale, but.
I remember when I would see people at work at like a coffee shop, and I remember like it would be early in the morning and they're just filled of energy, and I used to be like, damn, bro, like I'm only filled of energy when I do blues, like imagine being a normal person where you can go work at fucking Starbucks and it's fucking 8 in the morning, and you're just like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, you're just like in a good mood.
You're just like gassed, and I'm just like, fuck, because I remember I used to also be like, wow, like that could never be me. Like, could you? Because when you get clean, one, your body's not producing serotonin. You're clinically depressed. You have like serious issues with just your brain in a physical aspect. Your whole spirit's broken. You feel like there's no hope for the future. So it's like even after a couple months clean, you're nowhere near that Starbucks lady. Yeah. And it feels like it's never going to happen. Like you're just going to be this fucking zombie person waiting to fucking get high one day.
Yeah. Well, the other part of that is, look, some people are just not morning people. Like I don't know if I'm still like that. I still wake up sometimes, and those Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts people are, they're on point, and I'm just like, bro, like,
tone it down.
Yeah, like chill out. They also might be on Adderall. Who knows?
Exactly. But so what was it like after that, and how did you get like your relationship back with your family? Because I know your family, Out of all like my childhood friends that were on drugs, like I could say that you're one of them that had like a super solid family.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your dad is just like the nicest. Your mom is always calling me.
Yeah, I mean, they were real patient with me. But like I said, they cut me off for a while, and it took some time to sort of repair that relationship because they would let me come and stay there periodically. Like if I got kicked out of somewhere, I can come stay there for a little bit until I fucked up and they made me leave. I've taken money and jewelry, like irreplaceable jewelry from my grandfather who passed away that gave to my mom, like pawned that, never got it out, like that I feel terrible for. And so I feel a lot of guilt for that. But it just took time. My family loves me and I love them. So it didn't take long to see that, I was being genuine with what I'm doing and the things that I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember even for a while, like your sister hated me, like she was just like, oh.
They all wanted to think that it's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. The people I'm surrounding myself with, you or Ryan and Amanda, you know what I mean? Like it was always somebody else's fault. But like in reality, it's like, I don't know. A lot of the times it was me in charge of like, let's go do this, let's go do that. Not with me and you, but like just in general, like I was the ringleader. Like I was like, yo, let's go do some fraud,
Amen. So I guess what have like the last couple of years been like being clean, and how do you feel now today?
I definitely feel better than I did when I was getting high. I feel good. It feels good to just like walk around town and not be high. People, I don't know. I feel like there's like a different level of, I guess, respect that I have for myself, that I carry myself in a different way. So I'm treated differently. I'm polite. I don't know. I just feel good. I feel good in public most of the time. And,
cause I know like, just looking at, I guess for a lot of people, like some people just don't look like addicts,
Yeah. Well, that's why I was able to get away with so much like stealing stuff. Cause I could put on like a dress shirt and I don't look like the typical like drug addict or like I'm going to rob your business or something like, so like, like it would just.
Yeah. You definitely can pull off like the innocent.
That's why I honestly don't really talk about like my past too much with people, just cause I don't think it's important to really who I am right now. I just feel like I'm so different from that person. And obviously there were stairs to get to this person, but I just don't really talk about it too much.
Absolutely. No, I know. And not everyone's like that. Like you got people that, they can't shut up about it.
Yeah.
And then you have some people that just live their life. They know that it's something that they've been through. And like, if you really talk to them, they might, but like you have no idea what someone's been through, which is why I've always liked recovery. Cause you would go there and you'd look at someone and never think that you'd have anything in common with them.
Yeah. It's like a melting pot of just crazy stories and
cool. Remember that time I pooped myself in your car?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I appreciate anything else you want to talk about?
Nah.
All right, cool. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 888-699-9395 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com.